Welcome to the Songwriter Connection podcast, where we look at the craft of songwriting through the eyes of the songwriter. Each week, we make a connection with a music maker, listen to their songs, and hear their stories. From Nashville, Tennessee, here's your host, Dave Lenihan.
I cannot thank you enough for joining us, downloading the podcast, and listen. You know, over the past few weeks, we've had a record number of downloads, and I have you to thank for that and for sharing it out there to the point that we can now monetize the show, which is just fantastic. So we get a little money for this. And that's the cool, that was the dream, you know, but you made it happen. And we want to thank you for that. I've got a great guest that I'm going to introduce you to. She is amazing. And I can't wait for you to hear her music and the stories behind her great songs. But first, let me tell you about Discover Sooner. DiscoverSooner.com is where you'll find out more information. It's a great organization. It is a group of folks that get together, make profiles about themselves, and they're all songwriters, folks. Songwriters, well, and publishers and music people that you can connect with. So if you're looking for someone to collaborate, or maybe you're looking to make connections with publishers, maybe you want a publishing deal on down the line, somebody that can help get your songs placed, Discover Sooner can help you do just that. My friend Nancy Deckant was on episode 2 of season 2, and she told us more about Discover Sooner. She created it, and it's a great organization. So after the podcast today, DiscoverSooner.com is what I'd like you to go to and enjoy that. I think you will. Our guest is Randi Driscoll. She's got an amazing story that we're going to share with you, but I'm going to start with a song that's really going to touch you. The Year We Stayed Home. This is a great video that you'll find too on YouTube. Randi Driscoll on the Songwriter Connection podcast.
Remember when we couldn't go outside? And if we did, the space between us felt a mile wide. With our hearts 6 feet apart, we held each other with our eyes. Remember when we couldn't go outside? Remember when together meant alone? We worshipped in our kitchens and our schools were in our homes. A window to the soul. We tried to let each other know we weren't together, but we were never alone. So now we hug a little longer, yeah, we kiss a little stronger, treat our neighbor and a stranger as our friend. Yeah, we're all a little kinder, and the earth is a reminder where hope and beauty grow, love has no end. For all we know, we didn't know. We learned it all the year that we stayed home. Remember when we found out what we need? Connection and reflections, memories played out on a screen. Happy birthday from our cars, happy hours in our yards. Remember when we found out what we need? So now we hug a little longer, yeah, we kiss a little stronger, treat our neighbor and a stranger as our friend. Yeah, we're all a little kinder, and the earth is a reminder where hope and beauty grow, love has no end. For all we know, we didn't know. We learned it all the year that we stayed home. And every night out in the country, we would howl up at the moon. And in the city, they would gather, clapping loudly from the roof. Not all heroes wear a cape, not all warriors have a sword. Sometimes winning just means living, and a smile is your reward. Remember when we lost so many lives? The days marched on quietly, we watched the numbers rise. Swore we'd never take for granted what we loved and what we lost. Remember when we found out what it cost? So now we hug a little longer, yeah, we kiss a little stronger, treat our neighbor and a stranger as our friend. Yeah, we're all a little kinder, and the earth is a reminder
It's an amazing song. It's our guest, Randi Driscoll, on the Songwriter Connection podcast. Randi, thanks for joining us. Good to see you.
It's nice to see you. I'm so happy to be here. What an honor. Thanks for asking me.
It's an honor to have you. You know, I'll tell you the kind of performer that Randi is. You could be in a smoky bar room where we've played, and the minute she starts singing and playing that piano, you can hear a pin drop. Just everybody quiets and listens. She is an award-winning songwriter and an actress. She's done film and TV commercials, so we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. And theater, and she's performed at a lot of really cool places like the Lincoln Center, the Ford Theater. My goodness, in Japan, and today she's going to perform around the dining room table on the podcast.
The best of all of them.
Yeah, right.
And the commute was awesome. So.
Oh, yes. We found out that we're kind of neighbors,
I know we are. I love that.
Yeah,
I love that
is kind of cool. Well, let's find out a little bit more. First of all, it's the stories behind the songs. And that song is so powerful. And I've heard you do this at different shows and things. It was a rough year. It really was,
It was. It is. We are. Yes, it was. Yeah, that song came together so I wrote it in May of 2020, and I wouldn't know that except that I emailed the lyrics to myself, right? So I have the date. But my husband and I, when the pandemic shut everything down, for all of our songwriter friends, it was like, what are we going to do now, right? Tours were canceled. All my shows were canceled. So I turned to my husband, Andrew, and I said, we should run a little show from upstairs in our music room. We should do a live show, and we should just do it every night, and we should get on and call somebody every night, FaceTime with people, and just make sure everyone's okay. And at first, thank you. At first, it sounded like a very possible thing. We'd be at it a week or two. And little did I know, 70 consecutive episodes later of Randi's Live. Yeah.
Randi's Live.
It was a little like a little hee-haw from home, I like to call it. My daughter was the stage manager. We did skits. My husband was everything, sound, lighting, producing the whole thing. And
Andrew did a wonderful job. And Skylar, too, your daughter.
She was a doll. So during that time, I thought, well, if we're going to be doing this Facebook Live show every night and making connection, we need a theme song. So I wrote a song about what I thought the world would look like when we came out of the pandemic. And the chorus was just easy for me. It was, we'll hug a little longer, and we'll kiss a little stronger, and we'll treat one another kindly. Those were sort of the vibes. And if you right when everything shut down, all you wanted to do was run out and hug someone, right? And people really, came together. And I know we've had a very up and down year and a half, but I still firmly believe that, we are a better together in this beautiful human race, right? And
God bless you. I think so too.
We get through the race together, and so I see all of these moments. So the song became sort of the theme song, but I wasn't able to record it until this year, right? And with some beautiful musicians at Omni Sound here in Nashville, and then we did a video for it. So that's sort
wonderful.
of
and you will find that on YouTube,
yes.
By the way. Please look it up. Randi Driscoll. It's Randi.
That's it. You got it.
And Driscoll, and you will find it. It's the year that we stayed home.
Yes.
I've seen you do that at shows.
Yes.
You get everybody up on stage singing along with you, including everybody in the audience.
It's pretty cool when everyone's singing Hug a Little Longer. I just love it, man. It feels good. We're just sending the vibrations out, right? So.
That's cool. It is so cool. I want to tell the story about how I first met you.
Oh, I'd love it. Let's do it.
There was a little bar called, and we just had Parker and Delaire on the show.
So great.
Just a couple weeks ago.
I love them.
Frank Parker and Tom Delaire, and Tom and his wife owned this place called Betty Lou's.
Yes, they do.
And on Sunday nights, they would have these great songwriter rounds, and Keith Burns would come from Trick Pony, and Sam Tate, who's a hit writer here in this town, lots of big hits, and lots of other people. And it was just a great hang, getting to know people and playing your songs and sharing your songs. And I used to go every Sunday night. Yeah. And then they started doing these little contests, They had a Christmas best Christmas song. So you write your Christmas song and come in and perform it. And then come around Valentine's Day, they said, well, look, we're going to do a love song. Okay, come with your best love song, and we'll have a contest. And so that night, Randi and Andrew come walking in, and she had an amazing story to share. And I'm going to let you tell the story, but I'm just going to tell this part of the story. She got up on that stage and performed this song and blew everybody away. I mean, you look around, and there was just mouths were just dropped, jaws were dropped. People were like, and we all knew end of story, it was going to win, and it did. You won. So I'm going to let you tell your part of that story, because you really have an interesting story there.
Well, and I get goosebumps just hearing you talk about it. Every time I tell the story, I still get the same crazy feelings inside. So what was funny was we had only lived here a short while. We moved here. So that's going on like maybe close to 3 years now. We moved here after my mom, we were taking care of her during her second, bout with cancer, and Mom didn't make it the second time. And it was a big wake-up call for our little family of 3 to, rethink life and what we wanted to do and where we wanted to be. And so we moved to Nashville. And one of the things that I found when I moved here was it came across one day that there was a bar called Betty Lou's. And I thought, that's crazy. I never hear that name, but that was my mom's name. So I said, we've got to go. And all I knew was that they did, like you said, some songwriter nights. And so I had it in my mind this particular night. They were doing some kind of a songwriter round or something. We went to Betty Lou's. It was raining. I remember that night.
I do remember it was raining.
And we walked in, and I found a guy walking around with a sign-up sheet, and that was Will. And I said, "Excuse me,
Will Dakota."
Will Dakota, great.
He's a great. We're gonna have to have him on the show.
I know,
sometime.
right? So I said, "Well, there were so many songwriters there that night, right?" And I said to him, "Are you taking sign-ups?" And he said, "Well, you better hurry if you want to sign up, because I'm done. We're done." And I said, "Oh yeah, put me on." And I said, "But I play a keyboard." He said, "Well, did you bring it? We don't have one." I said, I have one in the car. So we, always travel with a keyboard pretty much. So we got up there, and when they said it was a love song contest, I said, I don't actually have a traditional love song, but I do have a song that I wrote about my mom and her passing, and the fact that when she left this realm and went upstairs, she got to reunite with her favorite dance partner and the love of her life.
It's a love song.
That is. And then I said, so I think maybe I'll play that. And the rest was history. It was such a beautiful night for me because I met so many people like you that night and just immediately fell into this community of writers and also just being able to step in that bar, Betty Lou's, and sing Betty Lou's song, a love song to my mom and dad about reuniting in heaven at a place a lot like Betty Lou's. So there's no coincidence there. So
here am I. I'm singing the Bob Singer song, Betty Lou Getting Out Tonight. Rocking it up. And you've got this beautiful love song, which I'm hoping that you will play for us. I would love to. Can you do that?
I would love to.
Randi Driscoll is our guest. This is the Songwriter Connection podcast. She's got her piano plugged in, and she is around the dining room table, as we say.
Thank you.
Amen, 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 amen. Hallelujah, hallelujah, amen, amen, amen. The church was full, they came and they bowed their heads. They sang those hymns, they prayed, they paid their respects. But when all was said and done, they all poured out into the sun, and I was left to watch you fade away. But I did not cry, not a tear was shed. And when they asked me why, this is what I said. She always told me she'd see Daddy's face again. And honey, I believe there is a bar in heaven where your drinks are free. And any time, day or night, you find an open seat. Your hands are never tired, your legs are never weak. The game is on, the coffee's strong, the beer's ice cold, the whiskey's neat. The band's playing 24/7. Those angels gonna dance all night long if you let them. They're having one hell of a good time. Won't stop until the sun shines. That's a happy hour in heaven. So heavy hearts, I feel your pain. those we've lost, that everything's alright. No, the pain and all the fear we all know here, it just vanishes away, and you get one more chance for that second dance where love will win the day. I hear that song and I swear I can see his face, how it lights right up when she walks into the place. As if not a moment's passed, she falls into his arms at last, and nothing's perfect, but this is perfect. There is a bar in heaven where your drinks are free, and any time, day or night, you find an open seat. Your hands are never tired, your legs are never weak. The game is on, the coffee's strong, the beer's ice cold, the whiskey's neat. The band's playing 24/7. Those angels gonna dance all night long if you let them. They're having one hell of a good time, won't stop until the sun shines. It's a happy hour in heaven. Amen. 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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Amen. Amen. Amen.
I'm going to tell you, that night at Betty Lou's, there wasn't a dry eye in the place after that. Randy, that's an amazing song.
Thank you so much.
Just-
I still get a little choked up singing it, especially with that beautiful introduction. Yeah,
I could see that you do.
I do. I
And-
feel like they're, those angels are still around. They
Yes,
were in
they
that
are.
bar that night. I know they were.
Yes, they were. Absolutely. And you made a video of that, too, that people can see on YouTube. And it's a
yes.
great video, right?
And the video, okay, here's another crazy story. No coincidence. The video was filmed at Betty Lou's.
At Betty
because,
Lou's?
Of course.
Okay.
And we used some of the regulars were there the day of the shoot. And it was funny. I was trying to get a director friend of mine from Los Angeles. Jesse True filmed it, but the director was Ryan Forbes, a dear friend of mine from California. And we were looking at his schedule, and he knew my mom, and he just adored her. And so it had to be him that did it. But his schedule was so full, I said, when can you fly out? I got to see if we can get Betty Lou's. He said, the only date that I'm available to film it would be September 22nd, which just happens to be my mom's birthday.
Oh, my.
So imagine, we filmed it at Betty Lou's
chills.
for Betty Lou on Betty Lou's birthday. I mean, there you go.
Oh, yeah. I have goosebumps.
Yeah, so that
Crazy
song will
story.
forever mean so much to me. It's really special, and of course, being at Betty Lou's that night, I met you.
Yeah.
So that was
It was
awesome
so good
too.
to meet you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so good to meet
absolutely.
you.
And you had me on your Facebook Live show. That was
I
some
did. You were
fun.
an awesome guest too. An awesome guest. Yeah, it was.
I was feedbacking all over the places. I didn't have my headphones on, and I should have known better. but once we got that out of the way, we did all right.
No, it was great. It was great to be able to connect with you that way, right? Do
Yes.
whatever you can.
It was
right?
really cool that you did that. It was neat. I'd
you.
watched most every show.
Thank you. It was a good distraction for us too.
I'll bet.
I mean, a bunch of creatives in a house with not a whole lot to do. It was just gave us community. And I was telling someone the other day, we would interview people from, like you do, from all over to get their story, right? And people have such incredible stories. We
They do.
even had an old student of mine, a former student, I should say, who was on a cruise ship performing. The cruise ship was stranded off the coast of Spain, but she had Wi-Fi, so she was able to call in as a guest and tell us what her experience was like not being able to come home to America because she was off. So it was pretty incredible. It just felt like a way to share people's stories, to remind everyone that we're all in this together, right? Mm-hmm. And this kind of thing, like all of these, the podcasts, the live shows, they're so important for
It is.
connection, right? Songwriter connection.
Connection, that's the whole thing. And everybody's got a story. I mean, we're surrounded by songwriters here in this town, and each one has an amazing story. So I want to know a little bit more about the Randi Driscoll story. Now, I know you moved here from California.
We did.
Was San Diego?
We did. Huntington Beach.
Huntington Beach.
Yep.
Okay, so between San Diego and
exactly, that
and
was
LA.
the plan, right?
Yeah.
So we were working. I was working a lot in San Diego, and Andrew was working in Los Angeles. So we tried to split the difference,
And he was doing TV.
He was he was in television production, and he's also a fabulous actor.
He
And
is.
we did that for a long time. We were there for 10 years, and it was a wonderful time. Our friends are there, whom we still love and adore. But it got really hard. Andrew's commute was 4 hours a day.
Can you imagine that?
I did imagine it every night
Unbelievable.
when he missed dinner. Yeah. And like I was saying before I introduced Happy Hour, when you lose the last sort of member of your immediate, family, it's kind of like, okay, we really need to reassess. And Skylar Faith was young. She was like 4 at the time. And she turned to Dad one night saying goodnight to her, because that was about the time he'd get home. And she said, Daddy, will you ever be home for dinner? And I thought, okay.
Yeah.
We need to reassess. We had a very happy life there, but it was time for us to reassess. So I'd been visiting here for so long, Nashville for so long, that it made sense for us to move our little family here. And
here you
the
are.
rest is history. And now I'm in your dining room, and I love it.
What do you think of Nashville so far?
We love it. We love
That's
it.
great.
We had great friends here, so that was comforting to know that we'd be moving where we had good friends. But then our neighbors are wonderful. The people that we've met are wonderful. Obviously, the songwriting community is just so
It's amazing.
incredible.
Community is the right word.
It is, and it's unlike other cities. I grew up in New Jersey and did a lot of music in New York, and then was in LA for a long time. Both of those are
You grew up
vibrant.
I was going to ask
New Jersey,
in New Jersey, Jersey girl.
Maplewood, New Jersey, absolutely,
Wow. Okay.
absolutely. And,
So how far from New York City?
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
So I was really lucky. For a while, I took voice lessons in the city.
Wow.
I would get on a bus and go right in, and it was awesome. But I know both of those, communities, and they're vibrant and incredible and amazing, and they're still different than Nashville.
Yeah.
It's a different vibe everywhere you go. And I think in particular for singer-songwriters and lyricists, people that love the lyrics of a song, Nashville's a beautiful place to have community.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you find that too. Yeah.
It definitely is. And the co-writing thing, have you fallen into that yet?
Right. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was doing that a lot out in
Even before
California,
Nashville.
but different. Yes, but in like different ways. And,
Yeah, how's it
here
different?
It's just, like a lot of visiting with people, or not as how to explain it? It's not timed. Here it's like, I've got to write at 10. I can see at 1 for a write, and then I've got another one at 6, right?
Yeah.
That is different.
2, 3 a day.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
In LA, it's a lot more like, hey, I might be in town. We should get together, maybe if you're around. So it's a little bit different.
Wow.
But the neat thing about being in California and doing it was because I was also a vocal instructor out there and a piano teacher out there. I would end up writing with a lot of different people, a lot of different genres. Like I worked on a gospel CD, and I did some, country. I did pop. I did, so that's a neat thing too.
Yeah,
being able to really sort of dive into all of it, because a good song is a good song is a good song, right?
Regardless of genre.
Right, exactly.
We've talked about it so much on this show. I hate to put people in genres.
No.
Because, the real successful ones have built their own genre.
Totally.
I hate to put anybody in that little, that's for the music people. That's for the
That's for the
business
music
business side, right? But I hate to put anybody in a compartment, and say, you are this, you are that.
But I think doing that, writing with lots of different kinds of writers, or artists that had a vision of what they... I worked with a beautiful woman in California who had an idea of what she wanted, basically like an R&B sort of gospel, and she had an idea. She just couldn't actually put the chords to it, right? So she had a beautiful idea for a melody, but she needed, like we always say, a song doctor to sort of come in. But doing things like that opens you get ideas from that. And even if you, like, we know the kind of music I write is really like singer-songwriter with a taste of this and a taste of that, and piano-driven mostly, right? But writing in those other genres, it's like you opens your mind up to possibilities that you hadn't even thought of before. So that's why I love that too.
That's great. Can we talk you out of another song?
Oh, yes.
And when we come back, I'm going to talk about how it all began with you.
Oh, here we go.
What you going to sing for us?
So I'm going to sing, since we were talking about her, I'm going to sing a song that I wrote for my little girl. And I know that this show is all about, the stories behind songs and just, songwriters and how they get there. So this is a great songwriter story. This is my little girl was at a show that I did in Franklin before the pandemic. And she heard me sing, and at the end, she walked up to the merch table, and she saw my CD, and she said she'd like a CD. And I thought, okay, sure, take a CD. That's great. And so she grabbed one of each, and and I mean, any songwriter will know, or a lot of songwriters will know, if you've got CDs, they're in your garage somewhere in a box, and you have a few extras. So she took them, right? She took them, and she came home, and she was 8 when this happened, I think, 8 or 7, and she looked at me, and she didn't know how to play it, right? She was like, what do I do with this? I just get my music on YouTube or Spotify, or like I swipe something. What am I doing?
Yes.
So I had a boombox, like a real honest-to-goodness boombox, and I brought it out, and I showed her how to play it, and she thought that was so cool. And the next day she had a friend over, and her door was closed, and I was doing laundry, and I heard in her room Skylar Faith was singing my songs, which I didn't even know she was paying that close attention, but she was singing every word at the top of her lungs.
9 years old, right?
Yeah. At the time, like maybe 8. And she was just killing it. I thought, oh my gosh, first of all, I couldn't believe she listens, right? Because we bring her to a lot of shows, but she pays attention. And second of all, I thought, that just felt so good. I said, I don't know what, fame, quotes, right, air quotes, feels like, but like, if that's what it is, if that's what it means to be famous, that feels incredible. And I told that story to my my music partner and percussionist, Noah Heldman, and he said, well, I think you got to write a song about that. And I did. So I'm going to play it right now.
All right. It's a good one. It's Randi Driscoll on the Songwriter Connection podcast.
All those fancy cars, all those pretty little diamond rings, all the lights of the city, all the glitter, all the gold, well, they don't mean a thing. 'Cause when she's looking up at me with those eyes and she says, Mama, sing me a lullaby, well, the race is done, I've already won, and I barely had to try. Just wanna be famous in her eyes, 'cause if I am, then I won the prize. For all I got wrong, I got a whole lot right if I'm famous in her eyes. All those wasted years, precious time being what I ain't, all the ups and downs, all the runarounds, well, I really can't complain. 'Cause when she's holding me in her little hand and she says, Mama, come on and dance, I could walk on the moon, but I'm telling you, I'm happy where I am. Just wanna be famous in her eyes, 'cause if I am, then I'm doing fine. For all I got wrong, I got a whole lot right if I'm famous in her eyes. Everybody needs somebody to carry them across the finish line, somebody to lift them up, to show them love, to water them with sunshine. So if you're feeling like hope is gone and blue skies you ain't seeing none, try to remember what I'm telling you, friends. You're famous to someone. Just wanna be famous in her eyes, 'cause if I am, then I won the prize. For all I got wrong, I got a whole lot right if I'm famous in her eyes. Just wanna be famous in her eyes, 'cause if I am, then I'm doing fine. For all I got wrong, I got a whole lot right if I'm famous in her eyes. Yes. All those fancy cars, all those pretty little diamond rings, all the lights of the city, all the glitter, all the gold, well, they don't mean a thing.
What a great song. Wow. Randi Driscoll, famous in her eyes. Yeah.
For Sky.
For Sky. She's so adorable. She's amazing.
She's a good kid.
She really is. Now, you've been on stage with a wide variety of great folks. Jason Mraz, Pat Benatar,
that
Bruce
was
Hornsby.
Cool.
Tell us about that.
That was so the Bruce Hornsby was actually, that talk about a show that was through an old friend of mine, who this is a story you might enjoy, who is an incredible Americana, bluegrass, folk, many genres artist, but also in his other life, he was a baseball player and a baseball coach, Tim Flannery. If you aren't familiar with him, you should check him out. He was a coach of the Padres and then coached the champion San Francisco Giants for all of their wins.
Yeah. Wow.
But he's also an incredible musician. And I sang with him for years. And he invited me to do a benefit with him. And, when he told me sort of the lineup for the benefit, it was a bunch of sports figures and sports celebrities that was doing a benefit for animals, but the people on stage playing was like Bonnie Raitt that night and Bruce Hornsby, and I mean it was Jackson Brown. It was sort of and what I'll never forget about that was that Tim had 3 songs that he could do, and he did 2 of his own, and he brought me up to do an anti-hate song that I'd written, and so it was just a beautiful thing to be able to perform that, and so I had a chance to meet all of them, and they sang right after us, and it was a pretty glorious night. Yeah, so it's incredible, and it's wonderful because there are some artists that you can watch, and gosh, the minute they hit a note or the minute they start, isn't it just fabulous to listen to them? It
really is.
And so I've been really lucky. I've shared the stage with a lot of really neat people and done some really, really cool venues, and that's the thing. I love touring. That's one of the reasons the pandemic.
You like to hit the road.
I'd love to. And I had the Nashville thing down before I knew it was the Nashville thing. I used to go out for these little 5-day things, right? And so it was when Skylar was born, it was just enough. I could leave her for a couple days, and Daddy had it. And I would be able to do the shows that I wanted to do and come back. And when I got to Nashville, everyone said, well, that's what all the Nashville artists do. They go out for a short period of time and they come back so they have family time. And I thought, I was doing that a long time ago.
You were ahead of your time.
I do. I love touring, and I love to go to different cities and meet different people. And I've been really blessed in my life through a lot of the different charities that I've worked with, being able to sort of go out and do festivals. And that's been something that I've missed doing all of that, the connection,
Yeah. And you're an amazing host. Not only that little Facebook Live thing, but I know you host a writer's night here at the Cambria here in Nashville, and it's one of my favorite ones to play because not only does it have, it's an amazing room and the sound is fantastic, but it has a great hostess. She is amazing. Yeah, and you bring in some great writers.
You're sweet. Yes, I think what I'm trying to do with my writer's night, because we've all done a ton, right? And when it was safe to kind of get back at it, it was this beautiful space, and I knew I wanted to use, they weren't doing a lot of original music. And I thought, come on, you're around the corner from Broadway. You got to get the people right in the cuts. I mean, it's one thing to play the cuts, but you need the people who are going to play you the ones that you don't even know you're going to hear in a month or two,
Yeah.
So I called on my friends like you and some wonderful writers, and I said, let's try to build this thing. And the thing that I try to do is not only, I know I say the word heart a lot, but it's because I mean it. I try to do a heart-centered night. I try to do a night that's diverse, right? So that you're getting all different kinds of acts. You're getting all different kinds of sounds. And people that, you name it, we have everybody up on that stage. And then I try to make it feel like it's a show, right?
You do?
So I don't know if I got that from the Facebook Live thing, but you tell me. You've been,
it's a show.
I'm trying to have a beginning, a middle, and the end. Yeah,
your Randi Driscoll sign there next to the tip jar. It's great.
And we had, last week, I popped up at the end and I said, my partner Noah Heldman was in town for a festival that we did.
Wow.
And he's a phenomenal, guitarist and
percussionist.
I
missed it. I am so sad about that.
You've been to so many others. It's okay. You're so great. But we got up and I popped up at the end and I said, you know what? We need a finale. We're going to do a finale. I said, and I know writers' rounds don't usually do that, but I make it more like a jam, So,
yes, you do.
Because I'm so grateful for the time with these players, and I feel like, and the audiences have loved it. They love the live aspect. They love the original aspect. They love seeing musicians just coming together and having a good time in a space that for me feels safe, and it feels like, I don't know. We love doing it. And I love having you, so I can't wait till you come back.
Well, I can't wait either. Monday nights at the Cambria, which is on 8th downtown.
I think it is, around the corner from Broadway, off the
it's a beautiful place. Neat place. One of my favorite rooms. It walks out into the pool.
Yeah, well, that's what's nice, right? Because it's kind of open. It's like, it's really, well, I'm going to talk to you about dates for you to come back after this, because we love having you.
Well, anytime you need me, I'm there. One of my favorite places to play. Now, I want to find out how it started for you. Now, you're a Jersey girl.
Yes.
California, sure. Neither coast. When did you decide that music was the thing for you? How old were you?
I started singing when I was 3. So, my mom was a great piano player.
Yeah?
My father was a singer, not professionally, but man, he could have been. He was sang in the USO band, and he, I mean, you know, served also, but sang and was always singing around the house. And he had this big booming voice, you know, this baritone that was just crazy. And so from a young age, I knew I wanted to sing, sang a lot in church, sang a lot in school, started taking piano lessons early, and started writing my first. It's funny, when we cleaned out my mom's house to finally sell it, I looked back in the piano bench at some of my, you know, original lyrics. And I was I'll tell you this, I was a tortured 9-year-old. I don't know what I could have possibly been so worried about, but there's heartache in there. I was a little worried about war, which I don't know how I was, but I mean, I just saw these like reams of lyrics, you know, and I was writing music. I wrote a musical based on Snow White at 10.
At 10.
I wrote a church musical at 12. Yeah, so I knew.
Wow.
To me, music was joyful. You know, it was something that I watched them do, and it was
Make a joyful
always
noise.
fun.
Yeah.
And I remember being just old enough that we would walk into a particular restaurant or a bar, and if my father walked in, they would call him up to sing.
Wow.
And I remember sitting and watching him, thinking that was the coolest thing. And you know, he never did it professionally, but I think I just knew at a young age that this was pretty great. It was, people seemed happy, and it seemed like something to do, and the rest was history.
That's
so I've
it.
always done music. Yep.
Hooked at a very young age.
Yep.
That's great.
And then moved to California after Jersey.
After
It's
Jersey.
funny,
Did you go to school in California?
I did. I went to
You did?
school at the University of San Diego, and then promptly got into a band and started playing all over, and that was it. I mean,
Was it a rock band?
It
What did you play?
Well, you really want to know?
I want to know.
We were. I'll give you this. Our name was Reckless Abandon.
Reckless
with
Abandon.
no C. So just that's how reckless we are. We just left out that C, right? Real easy to find, right? Reckless Abandon, and we sang like sensitive folk music. So I feel like looking back, someone should have helped us with our branding, because
I was going to say that sounds like a heavy metal band.
Yeah, if you booked Reckless Abandon and you got me doing your sensitive folk music, you were really out of luck. But it was a great experience, and it was, you know, my first time really doing shows and booking shows, and then in that band I was only singing, and so I was writing lyrics, but I was in melody, but I was only singing, and then I really decided that I wanted to do more with the piano, because I really felt that was an instrument for me that could express a lot of what I was trying to say. And so after that, I just started my solo career, and that was it. I just
That is great.
kept going. Still doing it.
Now you have CDs out there available, right?
I do.
Yeah.
I have CDs. I've made, oh my gosh, a lot of, I have one CD that was on a small label, and then the rest have all been like self-produced and not self-produced. Most of them are produced by Larry Mitchell, a phenomenal producer and musician, but like on my own label, you know, or like released, independently released.
And that's the ones that are making the money today.
Well, isn't that funny? Little did we know, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Larry was one of the first people that said, you know, do it your own way, because after the record deal didn't work out, right? It was, you know, I was younger, and I had a guy come in and say, I'm going to make you we're going to make a CD, and I'm going to pay for the whole thing. And you're thinking, this is incredible. And then, wah, wah, you know, kind of, the songs are beautiful and they're out there, but you don't really own you know, what do you own?
That's right.
It's
now you own
great.
them.
And also, they didn't do anything with it. So I found Larry Mitchell, and he's done a bunch of the CDs. And one of the smartest things he said was, he looked at me and he said, do it yourself. Do it yourself. And I did.
The DIY artists are just amazing. And they're out there. And, you know, whether you're searching on YouTube or Spotify, there is just a lot of opportunity for artists these days. And that's the one good thing about the internet. I know people don't buy records anymore, or CDs.
What are we doing now? Yeah, it's different.
But the good thing is it's out there.
And also,
you can put yourself out there.
I had pushback too with different, like when I was working with the label, wanting to do like part of it as a charity. I do a lot of nonprofit things, and if I'm in control of it, then I can sort of do it easier. You know, it's you can kind of create your destiny with what you want your music. And if I say, no, this is an important cause to me, or this is something I want to speak on, then you can kind of do that. So, and then the new tracks, like the one that you played at the top of the show, those were recorded here with some unbelievable players, and those were produced by Dean Miller, who's a great guy here. And I found him, again, another one of those crazy kismet things. We had been trying to work together to do one song for years, and it didn't work. Either he was out of town when I was here, or I was pregnant on bed rest when he was here. It was like we couldn't make it work. And when I got here, I just finally one day got an email, we connected, and so we started with, crazy enough, we started with Happy Hour in Heaven, and I walked into that room and said, I'd like to try it, with the live band. I'd like to, and 3 chords into it, I was a mess. I just could not believe how beautiful those sounds were. And so I said to him, I'd like to do some more. So little by little, before the pandemic, we did a couple, and then we finished them up. So I should be releasing something very new very soon.
Good.
Yeah, really soon.
Something you can share with us now?
Yes,
a little sneak preview?
A little
maybe?
sneak preview of like, you mean like a tune, something from it? Or
something
all
from
the
it.
ones I just played are on it. But I can play I have a song I can play.
Good.
This is an older song that we have a new version of on the CD, because a lot of people had asked. It was on my older CD, Glass Slipper. They had asked if I had ever considered making a country version of this song, and I thought, isn't that a cool idea? So this is a tune called "Cinderella Left the Ball," and this is the new Boots version.
Okay, Boots version. Nice.
Cinders in a dustpan back behind the oven, stuck inside since midnight, waiting on your spotlight, waiting for your moment, waiting for your luck to change. You look into the mirror, you only see the scratches. Can't you see the real you under all the patches? Can't you see the beauty free from the hurt and the pain? Sitting all alone when you should be out there dancing, let them see you dancing, dancing right through the rain. Sometimes the ones that matter hurt you the most in the end. If the shoe doesn't fit, don't break the glass trying. If they don't love you back, don't waste your time crying. If they can't see the princess, they'll never see the queen. If you knocked on the door and it still wouldn't open, if you hoped for the best, here's to hoping you'll never fly if they're dancing on your wings. If anyone asks at all, Cinderella left the ball. Brushes in a dustpan, back behind the stable, hiding with the horses, waiting on a saddle, waiting for your moment. You're waiting for your luck to change. You look into the mirror, you only see a coward, but that's not what you are, and this is your hour. Can't they see the real you, free from the hurt and the pain? Sitting all alone when you should be out there dancing, let them see you dancing, you're riding across the range. Sometimes the ones that matter hurt you the most in the end. If the shoe doesn't fit, don't break the glass trying. If they don't love you back, don't waste your time crying. If they can't see the prince, how they gonna see the king? If you knocked on that door and it still wouldn't open, if you hoped for the best, here's to hoping you ain't gonna fly if they're standing on your wings. If anyone asks at all, Cinderella left the ball to do a podcast right here with Dave. Yes, she did.
Yes, she did.
They built you a wall, you didn't fit. Put you in a box, you jumped out of it. They tried to put you in a tower, but you just ran away. Like Rapunzel. They tried to tell you what to think, they tried to tell you what to feel, tried to tell you who to be. But that wasn't real. They'll never see you, 'cause they're looking the other way. Right? We've been there. If the shoe doesn't fit, don't break the glass trying. If they don't love you back, don't waste your time crying. If they can't see the princess, man, they'll never see the queen. If you knocked on that door and it wouldn't open, if you hoped for the best, hey, here's to hoping you'll never fly, 'cause they've all been standing on your wings. If anyone asks at all, if anyone asks at all, if anyone asks at all, Cinderella left that ball. Yes, she did. And she came to Nashville. And she sang all the songs she wanted to sing in all the genres she wanted to, right?
And wrote a bunch of new ones.
Yeah, right. You got it. Yeah.
Randi Driscoll playing it live right around the dining room table of the Songwriter Connection
I love
podcast.
it. This is so fun.
That's the country version, the boot version,
Yeah,
right?
it is with some great players and the pedal steel on it. It's
I
just
cannot wait to
unbelievable.
hear it.
Yeah,
I was
it's
just going to say, you got a horse in there. We just need a pedal steel.
Oh, and the stuff they played was Dan Dozen wore on. It was just unbelievable. Yeah.
Now, when is this new CD coming out?
Soon. So
Soon.
it's being mastered as we speak. So,
Good.
Yeah.
So maybe by the time this podcast streams, it's out there.
Yes.
And they'll look for you where?
Yes.
Anywhere they find music.
Anywhere
right?
you can find music, you know how it is.
Yeah. Yep. Spotify,
Yes,
YouTube, whatever.
all of the places. And I am printing CDs, because a lot
Are
of
you?
people
I do
aren't
too.
doing CDs right now. But
But it's like a calling card.
It is, and I play festivals and a lot of them, and I play a lot of house concerts. And so when you're there
I got
in
one of them
another
this week.
state, good
Yeah,
for you.
that's so
Good
cool.
for you.
First time for me.
People, you are going to love it. The house
can't
concert
wait.
community is one of the best places, not just for a songwriter to perform, but an audience to really see people in an intimate setting and sort of get, there's no real distractions. You meet the greatest people. But I will say about the CDs, when I do those kinds of events, the audience really likes to have something tangible that you can sign, you can write a little note, they can remember it, by. And so I find that the CDs are great for those kinds of things. I understand nowadays people want their music fast, they want it quick, they want it easy, like Skylar Faith. She just wants to swipe something and there's Mama's song. But I still do the short run CDs. So
That's good.
Yeah. So soon.
That is so cool. I'm very excited for you about that. I can't wait to listen. I want to thank you for being on our show. I know you have a busy schedule and everything.
What a pleasure. So. This is such a wonderful thing that you do, and you're just so good at it.
And, thank you.
And I remember talking about the FaceTime show when you came on. One of my friends that was watching, a viewer from California who watched just like you 70, she watched all of them. Yeah. And she said, oh my gosh, that guy, when he started talking, sounded like a DJ. I said, did you watch the rest of the show? He is, that's why.
Yeah.
No, this is wonderful that you
Face
do
for
this.
radio.
Oh, that's funny. No, it's wonderful that you do this. And this is just such a joy. Songwriters, we do love to talk about the process, and we love to talk about the art behind, the song, and because it's a part of us, right?
It
that.
is.
It's like our all of our children running around, or our songs, right?
For me too, to hear the stories behind the songs and to find out more about your journey and to share your success. I mean, it's just so much happiness for me to hear that, and to experience that kind of vicariously through you. So, very cool.
Thank you for having me.
How about one more song?
Okay.
And then we'll take her out. Randi Driscoll is our guest. Look for her online. She's out there. Look for, if you're in Nashville to Cambria, any place that you play around, look for her. Randi with an I. Okay? Yes. She's amazing.
This is a new one. I'm excited about this one. I think it will be on the CD. And it's about struggling with grief. And I feel like with the past year and a half that we've all had, we've all struggled with it, right? And but this song talks about how it's just when you think you're over it, when you think it's not there anymore, and the craziest time it can come through, right? And so this is just for all of us who have been dealing with a whole lot the past year and a half, right?
Yeah.
Whisper in the middle of the night. She's a little out of my sight, but I let her in. Sweet and familiar when she dries my tears, tells me things I wanna hear, but she ain't my friend. Where you been hiding, Sister Grief? Wrapped like a blanket in my memories, all the things I want to see, she shows them all to me. And just when I get to my favorite part of the dream, she'll yank it away from me. I think she just likes to watch me bleed. Where you been hiding, Sister Grief? This only child ain't getting no peace. Where you been hiding, Sister Grief? I beg, I bargain for you to leave. 'Cause when you fight, you don't fight fair. You got the ghosts on your side, they don't care. There's just no getting through to you. I learned not to trust you many moons ago, but you put on one hell of a show, and you win me back. You run me round in circles, make me lose my mind. But you ain't the leaving kind, any fool can see that. Where you been hiding, Sister Grief? This only child ain't getting no sleep. Where you been hiding, Sister Grief? I beg, I bargain for you to leave. 'Cause when you fight, you don't fight fair. You got the ghosts on your side, they don't care. Where you been hiding, Sister Grief?
Music of Randi Driscoll. It's fantastic. Yes, thank you so much. Randi is an amazing songwriter, performer, hostess, and just an all-around beautiful person. Thank you for being on our show.
Thank you.
Certainly appreciate it.
Having me. This has been a joy. I appreciate it so much. Thank you, friend. So glad to know you.
Same here. Join you next time on Songwriter Connection Podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Songwriter Connection podcast. Find us on social media at Songwriter Connection. Also, listen to Dave Lanahan's Nashville Connections radio show. It streams live every Friday morning on WOBL and WNOI. Look for us on Facebook and YouTube. See you next time on Songwriter Connection.